Hello Year 7, welcome to Task 16, where we're going to be looking at how Sorellier presents the setting in the Silver Sword. Now, as you can see in front of you, we are going to walk through this lesson as we did in Task 14. Okay, but today we're going to look at the question, how does Sorellier depict Warsaw in the following extract? So we need to look in more detail at what life was like for the characters in the Silver Sword. So in chapter 4, Joseph finally arrives in Warsaw and we are shown what has happened to his home city during the time that he has been away. So you've already analysed a piece of text about Joseph. We're going to use those same methods to analyse this piece of text in more detail, looking at the setting. The extract then what we have in interview is what we are going to be looking at in more detail. And you are going to be writing your own paragraph in answer to this question and posting this work on Padlet for Baz and myself to mark and then give you some feedback and trio. There are some sentence starters on the bottom of this slide for you if you need that extra help. And make sure you are writing notes as we work through the next few slides. So if we remember, we use point, evidence and analyse. So what is happening? Okay, what the author, the writer is trying to tell us. So what point are we making? How do they do this? How do they tell us what is going on? Okay, so what language do they use? What structure? Finding that evidence and commenting on it, and then thinking about why they are doing this. So analysing why it's important that they're telling us this and how they are doing it and what it might make us think and how that links to context. Okay, so on the screen in front of you now, we've got a question here. What are we being told Warsaw? And we've got the extract. It took Joseph 4.5 weeks to walk to Warsaw. He had lived in the city all his life and knew well. But now, on his own, there was hardly a street he recognised, and not an undamaged building anywhere. The place was as bleak and silent as the great moon. Instead of proud homes, he found crumbling walls. Instead of streets, tracts of rubble between mountains of bricks. Windows charred and glassless. Public buildings were burnt out shells. So what are we being told here about Warsaw? Quickly jot down your answer. Okay, well now we need to move on to how. Okay, how is the writer using language to show us the state of Warsaw? So we are going to need to zoom in, thinking about those language techniques. Don't forget, we've got things like similes, where you're making a comparison of two things using like or as. There's things like your adjectives, okay, so describing words, describing what it is like. You might have some alliteration, so words that start with the same letter in a sentence. You might have a metaphor, so that's the comparison of two things, but not using like or as, a direct comparison. Okay, might be using sensory language, so using those senses, your 5 senses that you have, or any other method you can remember. Okay, so your SAM learning hopefully has you've done, which should help you go over some of those English language techniques. Okay, so on the screen in front of you now, I've got some annotation of that extract. Okay, so we've got there was not an undamaged building anywhere. So that's important. Okay, what is that telling us? What has happened? Okay, and we've also got that the place was as bleak and beside the craters of the moon. So as you can see, we've got an arrow there. What does this word bleak suggest? I think is bleak, how does it look? We've also got silent as the craters of the moon. So what is this technique? If something is silent as something, what technique has been used here. Why does the writer use it? If it's night time and it's all pitch black, it's dark, there are no lights anywhere, we've only got the moon and it's really silent, what kind of atmosphere is being created? Now I've picked out there, instead of proud homes, it's crumbling walls, streets and tracks of rubble. There's mountains of bricks as well. So we've got lots of adjectives there describing what the city looks like. We'll have windows were charred and glassless. Okay, why might they be charred? Okay, why might they be glassless? What are those adjectives telling us about those buildings? Okay, so if you make some notes, and then we can move on. So the next thing we need to look at then is we know what the writer is trying to tell us. Okay, we know that Warsaw has been destroyed. We know how he's done this. We've looked at the language to show how he has shown that Warsaw has been destroyed. And why is he showing us that Warsaw has been destroyed in this way? Okay, so we've got a little helpful slide here. Okay, trying to put all your ideas together. So what is the point of the writer telling us about Warsaw? How is he using the language and technique to tell about Warsaw? And why is it important that we know Warsaw has been destroyed? What might it make us think and feel? How does it make us think about the characters having to live there? How might it make Joseph feel? He's gone back to find his family, his wife, his 3 children. We know from the previous analysis we've done that he is desperately missing his family, looking at those photographs over and over again. Okay, so what does that make you think and feel about Joseph? How might he feel finding his home city completely destroyed? So see if you can put all of your ideas together in a paragraph, and when you've done that, upload it to Padlet, and it will get marked, as I said, by either Mrs. Basley or myself. So good luck.